Fated to the Demon by Celeste King, part of the Humans Fight Back collection.
Just when you thought humanity couldn't get any more resilient.
Protheka doesn't exactly favor humans, especially women.
Well, I think it's high time that someone fight back and show these creatures a taste of their own medicine.
And of course, you wouldn't object to the steamy chapters in between.
You know me too well, Aeroth. Too bad YouTube won't allow them.
Find the unabridged, ad-free version of this audiobook and any other on the Worlds of Protheka YouTube channel on worldsofprotheka.com.
Cash in your 30% discount with YouTube 30 and read at a fraction of the price.
For more free, full audiobooks like this, hit that subscribe button and like this video to show your support.
You're listening to Celeste King's Fated to the Demon. Chapter 1. Claudia. The pickaxe swings down, biting into coal-streaked rock. Sweat trickles down my spine, soaking my threadbare shirt. Another swing, another chunk of coal freed. "Watch it, Claudia." Mac's gruff voice echoes through the cramped tunnel. "You're getting awfully close to my section." I squint through the dim lamplight. "Sorry, Mac. Hard to see down here." He grunts, returning to his own work. The rhythmic clanging of metal on stone fills the air, punctuated by laboured breathing and occasional coughs. "How's your sister?" Sarah whispers from my left. Her face is barely visible, streaked with coal dust. "Fine," I mutter, not wanting to draw attention. "Thanks for asking." Sarah nods, understanding my reticence. "We all keep to ourselves down here. It's safer that way." The air grows thicker, heavier with each passing minute. My lungs strain against the coal dust and stale oxygen. But I can't stop. Not if I want to make quota. "Water break!" The foreman's voice booms from further down the tunnel. A collective sigh of relief ripples through the miners. We shuffle towards the main shaft, careful not to bump into each other in the narrow space. "Here." Old Tom passes me a dented canteen. His gnarled hands shake slightly, years of mining taking their toll. I take a sip, savouring the lukewarm liquid. "Thanks, Tom." He nods, moving on to the next person. We don't waste words down here. Energy is too precious. The break ends too soon. We file back to our positions, shoulders hunched against the low ceiling. My pickaxe feels heavier now, each swing more of a struggle. "Keep it up, folks," the foreman calls out. "Just a few more hours till shift change." A few more hours. I close my eyes briefly, picturing Narina waiting at home. It's for her. All of this is for her. The mines swallow us again, darkness pressing in from all sides. But we keep swinging, keep digging. It's all we can do. The rhythmic clang of my pickaxe against rock fills my ears, drowning out the ambient noise of the mine. "Claudia!" Vic's urgent whisper cuts through the din. I pause mid-swing, turning towards his voice. "What is it?" Vic's face looms out of the darkness, his eyes wide with worry. "I need to talk to you, now." Glancing around, I make sure no one's paying attention. Can it wait? We're in the middle of a shift. It's about Narina. My heart skips a beat. I lower my pickaxe, moving closer to Vic. "What about her?" "I saw something on my way here, a group of dark elf soldiers roaming the outskirts of town." The blood drains from my face. "Dark elves? Here, are you sure?" Vic nods grimly. "Positive. Full armour, nasty-looking weapons. They seem to be searching for something." My mind races. Narina's alone at home. Vulnerable. "Did they see you?" "Don't think so. But Claudia, they were heading in the direction of your place." I grip my pickaxe tighter, knuckles turning white. "I have to go. Now." "Wait." Vic grabs my arm. "You can't just leave," the foreman dash. "I don't care about the foreman," I hiss, yanking my arm free. My sister's in danger. Vic's expression softens. I know, but rushing out there half-cocked won't help anyone. I don't hear anything else Vic has to say as I run toward the outskirts. My lungs burn as I sprint through the winding streets, coal dust still clinging to my skin. The outskirts of town loom ahead, and my heart pounds with each step. Narina, please be safe. As I round the final corner, my worst fears materialize. A group of dark elves, their armor gleaming in the fading light, surround a struggling figure. Narina. Let her go! The scream tears from my throat before I can stop it. The elves turn, their laughter cutting off abruptly. Narina's eyes widen as she spots me, a mix of relief and terror on her face. Claudia, run! But I can't. I won't. My feet carry me forward, even as the elves move to block my path. Their weapons glint, deadly and precise. I lunge forward, aiming for the gap between two elves. I barrel through the gap, but a gauntleted fist slams into my stomach. Air rushes from my lungs as I double over, gasping. Claudia! Narina's scream pierces the air. Another blow catches me across the jaw. Stars explode behind my eyes as I stumble backward. The metallic taste of blood fills my mouth. Stop it! Narina pleads. Leave her alone. I blink, trying to focus. The elves' laughter rings in my ears as they circle me. One lunges forward, and I barely dodge his fist, but another catches me from behind, sending me sprawling to the ground. Boots connect with my ribs. Pain lances through me with each impact. I curl into a ball, trying to protect myself. Suddenly the assault stops. I look up to see Narina throwing herself over me, shielding my body with hers. Please, she sobs. Don't hurt her anymore. For a moment, everything stills. Then rough hands grab Narina, yanking her away from me. No! I reach for her, my fingers brushing against hers before she's torn from my grasp. Adrenaline surges through me. I scramble to my feet, ignoring the pain screaming through every nerve. My hand closes around a piece of broken wood lying nearby. With a roar, I swing it at the nearest elf. It connects with a satisfying crack against his helmet. He staggers back, stunned. But my victory is short-lived. Another elf snatches the wood from my hand. Before I can react, it comes crashing down on my skull. The world tilts sideways. My vision blurs, darkness creeping in at the edges. I slump to my knees, fighting to stay conscious. Narina! I scream, my voice hoarse and desperate. The world spins around me, but I force my eyes to focus on her terrified face. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. Rough hands seize my arms, dragging me across the rocky ground. My body screams in protest, every nerve ending on fire. I try to dig my heels in, to find some purchase, but it's useless against their inhuman strength. Let her go! Narina's voice cracks as she struggles against her captors. Please, I'll do anything. The dark elves laugh, a cold, cruel sound that chills me to the bone. They don't slow their pace, pulling me relentlessly toward the edge of town. My heart pounds in my chest as I realize where we're headed. The ravine. Panic surges through me, giving me a burst of strength. I thrash wildly, twisting and kicking. No, Narina! For a moment, I break free. I scramble forward, reaching for anything of purchase to hold on to, but then I'm yanked back, lifted off my feet. The world tilts crazily as they swing me, once, twice, and let go. The air rushes past me. My stomach lurches as I plummet, the ravine's jagged walls blurring around me. A scream tears from my throat, raw and primal. In that endless moment of freefall, one thought crystallizes in my mind. Narina, my little sister. I failed her.
Chapter 2. Saturus. A piercing scream jolts me from my slumber. Damn, who dares disturb my rest? I crack open an eye, ready to unleash hell on the fool who's interrupted my beauty sleep. but instead of some sniveling demon or pathetic dark elf, I spot a crumpled form at the base of my altar. A human. Female. Interesting. I push myself up from my lounging position, stretching languidly as I observe the unconscious female. Her scent wafts towards me, something uniquely enticing. My fangs elongate instinctively, a low growl rumbling in my chest. How in the nine hells did a human end up here? The Glacies isn't exactly a tourist destination, and my territory is warded against intruders. Yet here she lies, broken and battered at the foot of my altar. I slide off my perch, bare feet silent on the icy floor as I approach her. Dark hair matted with blood frames, a face that might be pretty if it weren't so swollen. Bruises mottle her skin, and her clothes are torn and filthy. Well, well, what have we here? I crouch beside her, inhaling deeply. The scent of her blood is intoxicating, a heady mix of fear, pain, and something else. Something I can't quite place. My tongue darts out, tasting the air. Damn, it's been too long since I've had a human. The dark elves that occasionally stumble into my domain are all well and good, but there's something about human blood that sets my teeth on edge in the best way possible. I trace a finger along her jawline, feeling the warmth of her skin even through the bruises. My nail catches on a cut, and a bead of blood wells up. Before I can think better of it, I lean in and lick it off. The taste explodes on my tongue, a symphony of flavors I'd almost forgotten. Rich, complex, with an undertone of power that makes my head spin. My fangs ache, desperate to sink into her flesh and drink deeply, but I pull back, forcing myself to think past the bloodlust. This woman is an enigma. How the hell did she get past my wards? And why does she taste so damn good? No, I can't just drain her dry. Not yet, anyway. I need answers. I run my tongue over my fangs, considering. Then I lean in again, this time letting my saliva coat her visible injuries. The bruises on her face start to fade, the cuts knitting themselves closed. There you go, sweetheart, I murmur, watching as her features become clearer. Let's get you fixed up so you can tell me just what the hell you're doing here. Her eyelids flutter, and suddenly I'm staring into a pair of startlingly vibrant eyes. They're unfocused, clouded with confusion and pain. Her lips part, and a single word escapes in a hoarse whisper. Narina. I cock my head, studying her intently. Who is Narina? And why does this human seem so damn familiar? She blinks rapidly, struggling to focus. I can practically see the gears turning in her addled brain as she tries to make sense of her surroundings. The haze in her eyes gradually clears, replaced by a sharp awareness that sends a thrill down my spine. Those eyes. Where have I seen them before? I lean in closer, my face mere inches from hers. Her breath hitches and I catch a whiff of fear mingled with something else. Desire? Intrigue? Damn if I know. But it's delicious. Her eyes dart around, taking in the icy cavern before locking onto mine. Fear radiates off her in delicious waves. Who are you? Where am I? I grin, letting my fangs show. Name's Saturus, sweetheart. And you're in my domain now. She tries to scramble back, but her body won't cooperate. I chuckle. Don't bother. You're not going anywhere. What are you? A demon. A very powerful, very hungry demon. I lick my lips. And you, my dear, look absolutely delectable. Her eyes widen. You're going to eat me? Oh, yes. I trail a finger down her neck, feeling her pulse race beneath my touch. Every last bite. She shudders but doesn't pull away. Can't pull away. I let my hand wander lower, skimming over her collarbone, down to the swell of her chest. You're in the glacies, darling, my little corner of frozen hell. I cup her chest, squeezing gently. No one's coming to save you. My other hand traces the curve of her hip, sliding around to grip her ass. She whimpers, but her eyes never leave mine. I lean in closer, my breath ghosting over her skin. She shivers, and I can't help but smirk. This little human is more intriguing by the second. "What's your name, mortal?" I ask. My hand slides down her neck, feeling the warmth of her skin. She tenses, but doesn't pull away. Interesting. "Claudia," she responds meekly. "Well, Claudia, you should be terrified right now," I murmur, nuzzling against her ear. "But I don't think you are. Not entirely." Her breath hitches as I trail my fingers along her collarbone. I'm not afraid of you. A lie, but not entirely. There's fear there, yes, but something else too. A flicker of desire. Damn, that's unexpected. I pull back slightly, meeting her gaze. Those eyes, they're mesmerizing, defiant, yet vulnerable. I want to devour her whole. "No," I challenge, letting my fangs peek out. "Perhaps I should give you a reason to be." I drag my fangs lightly across her neck, not breaking the skin. Just a taste of what I could do. She gasps, her body arching involuntarily. Well, well. Seems our little Claudia has a taste for danger. "You like that, don't you?" I tease, my hand sliding down to cup her chest. "The thrill of it all. The big bad demon who could tear you apart." She bites her lip, clearly fighting against the sensations I'm stirring within her. But I can sense it, the growing heat, the quickening of her breath. She wants this, even if she won't admit it. Her eyes flash with desperation and she pushes against my chest. "Please, I need to go. My sister..." "Your sister?" I raise an eyebrow, amused by her sudden burst of energy. "Sweetheart, you're not going anywhere." "You don't understand." She struggles harder, her voice rising. "Narina needs me. They took her." I press a finger to her lips, silencing her. "Shh. Your sister isn't my concern. You, on the other hand..." I trail my finger down her chin, along her throat. "You're very much my concern right now." She shakes her head, tears welling in her eyes. "No, please, I'll do anything. Just let me go. I have to save her." Her pleas fall on deaf ears. I've waited too long for a meal this enticing to let it slip away. Besides, there's still the matter of how she got here in the first place. I grasp her chin, forcing her to meet my gaze. "How about we make a deal? You tell me how you managed to stumble into my domain and maybe, just maybe, I'll consider letting you go."
Chapter 3. Claudia. His breath ghosts over my skin, sending shivers down my spine. This is wrong, so wrong. But my body betrays me, responding to his touch in ways I never imagined possible. What are you?" I managed to choke out, my voice barely above a whisper. "I told you, little morsel, I'm a demon, and you're trespassing." His voice rumbles against my neck, low and dangerous. I should be terrified. I should be fighting, screaming, doing anything to get away. But instead, I find myself arching into his touch, craving more. "Please," I whimper, not sure if I'm begging him to stop or continue. "My sister..." "Shh," he murmurs, running a clawed hand down my side. "Let's focus on you right now." My eyes lock onto his otherworldly features. Sharp angles, glowing eyes, wicked smile. He's beautiful in a way that defies description, and it takes my breath away. I try to move away, but my body won't cooperate. It's as if I'm paralyzed, trapped beneath this creature's gaze and touch. His tongue darts out, lapping at the wounds on my skin. "Stop," I croak, hating how weak my voice sounds. The word barely escapes my lips, more of a whimper than a command. He pauses, mismatched eyes gleaming with amusement. "My saliva heals, little one. I'm helping you." I struggle against invisible bonds, my mind reeling. Demons? Healing saliva? This can't be real. It must be a nightmare, some twisted hallucination brought on by the fall. You're not real, I whisper, more to myself than to him. Demons don't exist. He chuckles, the sound sending vibrations through my entire body. Oh, but we do. And you, my dear, have stumbled right into the arms of one of the most notorious ones. I shake my head, refusing to accept it. My heart races, torn between fear and a traitorous excitement. I don't understand what's happening, but I know I can't stay. Somehow, I have to find a way out of this impossible situation. I need to go, I blurt out, pushing against his chest. My hands meet solid muscle, unyielding as stone. My sister. The dark elves took her. I have to save her. The supposed demon throws his head back and laughs, the sound echoing off the cavernous walls. His mismatched eyes gleam with cruel amusement. Save her? You? He runs a claw down my cheek, sending shivers through my body. Look at you, little human. So fragile. So weak. I flinch away from his touch, anger flaring in my chest. I'm not weak. Oh, but you are. His voice drops to a silky purr. Tell me, how do you plan to face the dark elves, with your soft skin and brittle bones? My mouth opens, but no words come out. He's right. What chance do I have against trained soldiers? That's what I thought. He smirks, revealing sharp fangs. You're useless, little one. Nothing but a tasty morsel for me to devour. His words cut deeper than any blade. Tears prick at my eyes, and I blink them back furiously. Number I can't give up. Narina needs me. His words echo in my mind, taunting me. Useless, weak, a tasty morsel. But something nags at the back of my thoughts, a half-forgotten memory struggling to surface. The ravine. The shrine. The tales. My breath catches in my throat as the pieces click into place. Old stories, whispered around fires on dark nights. A demon's lair hidden in the depths of the ravine. A place of power and danger. I'd always dismissed them as superstition. Ghost stories meant to keep children from wandering too close to the cliff's edge. But now, my eyes dart around the cavernous chamber, taking in the otherworldly architecture, the strange symbols etched into the walls. This is no natural cave. This is the shrine, I whisper, my voice trembling. It's real. The demon's eyebrow arches, curiosity replacing the cruel amusement in his mismatched eyes. Oh? You know of this place, little Claudia? I swallow hard, gathering what little courage I have left. There are stories, legends of a demon who grants power to those who find his shrine. My voice grows stronger as I speak, desperation lending me strength. Is it true? Can you give me the strength to save my sister? He tilts his head, studying me with newfound interest. A slow, wicked grin spreads across his face, revealing those deadly fangs once more. Power comes with a price, dear, he purrs, trailing a claw along my jawline. Are you willing to pay it? Hope and desperation blaze in my heart, giving me the courage to ask, what is the price? His mismatched eyes gleam with wicked amusement. If you want my power, little morsel, you'll have to prove your worth. He gestures to the ground at his feet. Kneel and lick my feet. If I find your worship satisfactory, I might consider your offer. My stomach churns at the thought. Degrading myself before this creature? But Narina's face flashes in my mind, her terrified screams echoing in my ears. For her, I'd do anything. I grip my teeth and try to push myself up. Pain lances through my body, sharp and unexpected. My arms buckle, and I collapse back onto the cold stone floor. He looms over me, his mismatched eyes gleaming with cruel amusement. "Look at you," he sneers. "You can't even stand. Truly useless." His words sting, but the truth in them hurts more. I am useless, weak, pathetic. Narina is in danger, and here I am, sprawled on the floor of a demon's lair. I'm not... I start to protest, but the words die in my throat. "Not what?" He leans closer, his breath hot on my face. "Not useless." "Oh, but you are. Completely and utterly useless." Tears blur my vision. I want to fight back, to prove him wrong, but my body won't cooperate. I'm trapped, helpless, at the mercy of this cruel demon. Suddenly, his lips crash against mine. The kiss is brutal, demanding, nothing like I've ever experienced before. I gasp in shock, and he takes advantage, deepening the kiss. A strange warmth blooms where our lips meet, spreading through my body like wildfire. It races along my nerves, setting every cell alight. The pain that racked my body moments ago begins to fade. I should push him away. I should be disgusted. But as the warmth intensifies, I find myself responding, pressing closer, craving more of whatever this is. The energy pulses through me, stronger with each heartbeat. I feel it seeping into my bones, knitting together unseen wounds, washing away the ache of bruises. I blink, realizing the pain is gone. Tentatively, I flex my fingers, then my arms. No resistance, no agony. I push myself up, marveling at the ease of movement.
Rosenfire, our family holds great weight and power in Orthani. And yet I hear whispers.
Do you think he can take him?
There is no way that this could happen.
No, more books. I can't remain locked in this ivory tower a moment longer.
She's perfect. The Baron's daughter must be found.
Julius, we shouldn't.
Why shouldn't we?
I am not a full dark elf. I do not possess their ethereal beauty. How will I find a mate?
The lowly Baron's son apparently has shown that he has the same gift of fire-wielding as I, if not stronger.
I am the family's dirty little secret. I am not the future of the family. Dukan is.
This world was created from a seed of evil.
I propose we take Dukan out of the picture, permanently.
Please, let me go.
If you want to join the poor humans who are bought and sold in the markets on a daily basis, you will find a way to get there.
I am free, and I am terrified.
You will never escape me.
I can try.
You will fail. Get seasons 1 and 2 of the Dark Elf series from worldsofprotheka.com.
Protheka's magic is eternal. This series will show you why.
Chapter 4. Saturus. Her lips taste like ambrosia. Sweet. Intoxicating. A flavor I've craved for centuries without knowing it. My tongue dances with hers and a spark ignites deep within me. What is this feeling? I purr, trailing a finger along her jawline. She shivers and the reaction sends a thrill through me. This woman. This fragile, infuriating human. She feels... right. Like a missing piece slotting into place. Like she belongs here, with me. To me. Ridiculous. I'm Saturus, a demon lord. I don't form attachments to mortals. I devour them. And yet... I shake my head, banishing the foolish thoughts. It's been too long since I've tasted human flesh, that's all. The hunger is making me sentimental. I break the kiss, my tongue savoring the last traces of her flavor. Her eyes are wide, her breath coming in short gasps. The energy I've given her pulses through her body, visible even to my jaded gaze. Servants! I call out, my voice echoing through the chamber. The woman tries to kneel, her movements clumsy and urgent. I wave a hand dismissively. Later. Wash up first. Two imp-like creatures materialize, bowing low. She startles, her eyes darting between them and me. No! She cries, panic lacing her voice. I don't have time, I need to go back! I raise an eyebrow, amused by her audacity. Go back? To what, precisely? My sister, she pleads, her voice cracking. The dark elves took her. I have to save her. Ah, yes, the sister. I'd almost forgotten in the intoxicating rush of her presence. I growl, my patience wearing thin. This human dares to defy me? In my own domain? Unacceptable. In a blur of motion, I pin her against the cold stone wall. My claws dig into her shoulders, not quite breaking skin. A reminder of what I am, of what she isn't. Listen carefully, little mortal, I hiss, my face inches from hers. You want power? You want to save your precious sister? Then you will obey me, without question, without hesitation. Her eyes widen, fear and defiance warring in their depths. The scent of her terror is intoxicating, stirring my hunger. I don't understand, she stammers, her breath hot against my face. What do you want from me? I bare my fangs in a feral grin. Everything. My hand slides up to her throat, not squeezing, just resting there. A promise. A threat. Disobedience will not be tolerated, I continue, my voice a low rumble. You will do as I say when I say it. No arguments. No delays. My other hand traces down her side, claws catching on the fabric of her tattered clothes. She shivers but doesn't pull away. The choice is yours, little one, I purr, leaning in close. My lips brush her ear as I whisper, Obey me and I'll give you power beyond your wildest dreams. Defy me, and... I let the threat hang in the air, unspoken but unmistakable. The human's eyes flicker with resignation. Good. She's learning. Fine, she whispers, her voice barely audible. I'll do whatever you want. Just... please help me save my sister. I release her, stepping back with a satisfied smirk. Wise choice, little mortal. Now go. Clean yourself. My servants lead her away, their grotesque forms a stark contrast to her fragile beauty. As they disappear down the corridor, I find myself oddly unsettled. What is it about this human that affects me so? I pace the chamber, my claws clicking against the stone floor. Minutes crawl by like hours. The scent of her lingers, teasing my senses. I growl, frustration building within me. What's taking so long? Surely she should be done by now. Before I realize what I'm doing, my feet carry me towards the bathing chambers. The sound of running water grows louder with each step. Steam curls around my ankles as I approach. I pause at the entrance, my hand resting on the cold stone archway. What am I doing? I'm a demon lord, not some lovesick puppy. And yet, the urge to join her is overwhelming. To feel her soft skin against mine, to taste the water droplets on her flesh. It's been so long since I've indulged in the pleasures of a human body. My fangs extend, hunger and desire warring within me. I take a deep breath, inhaling her scent mixed with soap and steam. It's intoxicating. One step. That's all it would take. One step and I could have her. Claim her. Make her mine in every way. But no, not yet. This game has only just begun, and I intend to savor every moment. I slip inside the bathing chamber, silent as a shadow. Steam curls around me, thick and fragrant. Through the haze, I see her. Claudia. She stands waist-deep in the spring, rivulets of water cascading down her caramel skin. My breath catches. How can a mere human be so captivating? I watch, transfixed, as she runs her hands through her short, dark hair. Something's different about her. The glacier should be unbearable for a mortal, yet she shows no signs of discomfort. How is this possible? My eyes narrow. There's more to this woman than meets the eye. She turns, giving me a tantalizing view of her profile. My fangs ache with hunger, for her flesh, her blood, her very essence. But there's something else, too. A hunger I haven't felt in centuries. I need answers, and I need them now. With inhuman speed, I close the distance between us. She gasps, startled by my sudden appearance. Before she can speak, I capture her lips with mine. The kiss is searing, passionate. I taste her surprise, her fear, and underneath it all, a burning desire that matches my own. I break away, drinking in her flushed cheeks and wide eyes. My hands move of their own accord, shedding my garments. They fall to the ground with a soft thud. "What are you?" I growl, my voice low and dangerous. "How can you withstand the glacies?" She meets my gaze. I lean in, my lips brushing her ear. My hands slide down her sides, coming to rest on her hips. She shivers but doesn't pull away. "Tell me," I whisper, nipping at her earlobe. "What secrets are you hiding?"
Chapter 5. Claudia.
Sorry for the interruption. I know you were gearing up for a steamy scene, but it's way too hot for YouTube.
If we want to keep sharing our stories for free, we have to abide by YouTube's guidelines.
To get the full unabridged audiobook, go to worldsofprotheka.com.
Browse through unabridged audiobooks, countless ebooks and bundles offered at a discount.
If the thought of me whispering all the dirty details into your ear isn't enticing enough, use discount code YouTube30 to get 30% off of all digital products.
Story after story, audiobook after audiobook, the worlds of Protheka are waiting for you.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
But unabridged, it's unforgettable.
Chapter 6. Saturus. Something's wrong. The energy rebounds, crackling against an invisible barrier. What the hell? I pull back, staring into Claudia's dazed eyes. She blinks, confusion replacing the lust-filled haze. What's happening? She murmurs. I grip her shoulders, searching for answers. How is this possible? She shouldn't be able to resist my claim. Unless... You're already bound, I snarl, fury and frustration boiling beneath my skin. Who? Which demon dares to interfere? Claudia shakes her head, fear creeping into her expression. I don't understand. What do you mean, bound? I bare my fangs, barely containing my rage. Someone's marked her, claimed her before I could. But who? And how did I not sense it earlier? My mind races, cataloging every demon powerful enough to hide their mark from me. The list is depressingly short, and none of them would dare encroach on my territory. I glare at Claudia, suspicion warring with desire. Is she playing me? Did she know about this other contract? No. The shock in her eyes seems genuine. She's as clueless as I am, which makes the situation even more intriguing and infuriating. I release Claudia, stepping back in the warm water. My mind races, piecing together this puzzle, the contract binding her. It's ancient. So old it's barely detectable. No wonder I missed it at first. Damn, I mutter, running a hand through my wet hair. Claudia hugs herself, shivering despite the steam rising around us. What's going on? You said something about being bound? I study her, searching for any hint of deception. Nothing. Just confusion and a lingering trace of desire. She really has no clue. I can't help but chuckle as realization dawns. Another lust demon's prey right under my nose. The thrill of chaos sends a delicious shiver down my spine. Screwing someone else's claim? Now that's my kind of entertainment. Well, well, I purr, eyeing Claudia's trembling form. Looks like you're more interesting than I thought. She blinks up at me, confusion etched across her features. What do you mean? I ignore her question, savoring the excitement bubbling in my veins. This is going to be fun. Stepping out of the water, I scoop Claudia into my arms. She feels so fragile, so human. Yet there's something else, a hint of power just beneath the surface. Intriguing. She leans against me, weak from our intense coupling. It takes all my self-control not to take her again right here. As I reach for my garments, my mind races with possibilities. Whose claim did I just violate? And how can I use this to my advantage? Claudia watches me warily as I dress myself, her eyes following every movement. Are you going to tell me what's going on? I watch Claudia's face, savoring her confusion and desperation. She's like a lost lamb, unaware she's wandered into a wolf's den. Delicious. The contract, she presses, her voice quivering. You said I was bound. What does that mean? I remain silent, letting her stew in her uncertainty. It's so much more fun this way. Finally, I flash her a predatory grin. It's done, sweetheart. You got what you wanted. Her eyes widen, hope and disbelief warring in her expression. Really? You mean, you'll help me save my sister? Oh, this is too good. I can't help but smirk, drinking in her naivety. She has no idea what she stumbled into, does she? The thought of screwing someone else's property sends a thrill through me. It's been far too long since I've had this much fun. Sure, let's go with that, I purr, not bothering to hide my amusement. Truth is, I couldn't care less about her sister or her desperate plea for help. That's not my problem. Whatever demon has already claimed her can deal with that mess. I'm just here for the chaos and pleasure. Claudia's brow furrows, doubt creeping into her eyes. But how? When did we make the contract? I laugh, the sound echoing off the cavern walls. Don't worry your pretty little head about the details. It's all taken care of. She opens her mouth to protest, but I silence her with a finger to her lips. The contact sends a spark of desire through me. Maybe I'll keep her around a bit longer, see how much more fun I can squeeze out of this situation. After all, I have no obligation to fulfill her request. Let her figure out the mess she's in on her own. I'm just along for the ride. I can't resist one last taste. My hand connects with Claudia's ass, the sharp slap echoing through the chamber. She gasps, her body arching instinctively. Time to start the party topside, sweetheart, I purr, already imagining the chaos we'll unleash in Protheka. Her eyes widen, a mix of fear and excitement dancing in their depths. What do you mean? I ignore her question, turning to my servants who hover nearby. Dress her up. Something in black leather. Make it enticing. The servants bow and scurry to obey. I watch as they lead Claudia away, her naked form disappearing around a corner. The memory of her warmth, her taste, lingers on my tongue. But there's work to be done. Protheka awaits, ripe for the taking. And I have a mystery to unravel. Who dared to claim what should be mine? With a grin that would make lesser beings tremble, I stride out of the chamber. The fun is just beginning. As much as Samara and I want to finish what these two characters have started, it looks like this chapter is about to get too hot for YouTube to handle.
Unfortunately, we have to pause here because their guidelines won't allow us to reveal the spiciest details.
To keep bringing you these free audiobooks, we have to follow their rules.
But don't worry. You can experience the full unabridged version over at worldsofprotheka.com, where the boundaries of passion and fantasy collide.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off any of our unabridged audiobooks set in the rich and immersive worlds of Protheka.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
With these scenes, it will be unforgettable.
Chapter 7. Claudia. The leather clings to my skin like a second layer, hugging every curve. I tug at the straps, trying to cover more of my exposed flesh. This outfit leaves little to the imagination. "Stop fidgeting," Saturus growls. I freeze, my hand hovering over the corset laces. I can't go out like this. People will stare. That's the point, pet. Before I can protest further, the world shifts. My stomach lurches as reality bends around us. In a blink, we're standing outside the ravine. Warm sunlight bathes my face, a stark contrast to the chill of the glacis. I blink, disoriented. How? Demon, remember? Saturus smirks, his mismatched eyes gleaming with amusement. The familiar scent of pine and earth fills my lungs. Birds chirp in the distance. It's surreal, being back so suddenly. I glance at the sun, hanging low in the western sky. "It's afternoon," I murmur, bewildered. "We were gone for hours." Saturus shrugs. Time moves differently in my realm. I shake my head, trying to process everything. The contract, the power he promised, my sister. "Narina," I gasp, suddenly remembering why I made this deal in the first place. "We have to find her. The dark elves." Saturus grabs my wrist, yanking me forward. "Look." My jaw drops. We're standing mere feet from a bustling camp, tents and makeshift buildings scattered across a clearing. Dark elves mill about, their silver hair glinting in the sunlight. Weapons clang as soldiers train, their lithe bodies moving with inhuman grace. "The barracks," I whisper, heart pounding. "But how?" A dark elf strides past, so close I can smell the leather of his armour. He doesn't even glance our way. "They can't see us." Saturus grins, fangs glinting. "One of your new talents, pet. Invisibility." I blink, stunned. My talents? The contract, remember? "I've granted you powers." My mind reels. Invisibility. What else can I do? A spark of hope ignites in my chest. Maybe I can save Narina after all. "I've given you the tools. It's up to you to use them." "How do I use these powers?" "Figure it out." He smirks, clearly enjoying my confusion. "Consider it your first test." I take a deep breath, trying to focus. I spot a lone dark elf patrolling the edge of the camp. My lips curl into a feral grin. Perfect. Willing myself invisible, I stalk towards him. Each step is silent, my newfound grace making me a perfect predator. I'm inches away from the dark elf when a strong hand grips my shoulder, yanking me back. Saturus materializes beside me, his mismatched eyes glinting with mischief. "Where's the fun in just killing him?" he purrs, his breath hot against my ear. I bristle. "Fun? This isn't about fun. I need to find Narina." "And you will." His fingers trail down my arm, leaving goosebumps in their wake. "But first, a lesson." "I don't have time for—" "Transform," he interrupts, nodding towards the oblivious dark elf. "Become what his heart truly desires." I frown. How am I supposed to know what that is? Saturus chuckles, low and dark. "Feel it." His hands slide around my waist, pulling me flush against him. Heat blooms in my core as he nuzzles my neck, his fangs grazing my skin. "Close your eyes," he murmurs. "Let the energy flow." I want to resist, to push him away and focus on my mission. But as his fingers dance across my leather-clad body, something stirs within me. Power, raw and intoxicating, pulses through my veins. "That's it," Saturus encourages. "Let it consume you." Saturus's touch ignites a fire within me. My skin tingles where his fingers trace patterns across my leather-clad body. I should be focused on finding Narina, but the intoxicating blend of power and desire clouds my mind. The oblivious dark elf patrols mere feet away. My breath catches as Saturus's hand slides lower, teasing. The thrill of being so exposed yet invisible sends a shiver down my spine. Why does this feel so... I can't finish the thought. Saturus chuckles against my neck. Exciting? Forbidden fruit always tastes the sweetest, pet. His fingers dip dangerously low, and I bite back a moan. Just as the tension coils tight in my core, he pulls away abruptly. Now, he purrs. Seduce him. I blink, disoriented. What? Transform. Become his deepest desire. The power thrums beneath my skin, eager to be unleashed. I close my eyes, reaching out with senses I didn't know I possessed. An image forms in my mind. Lithe limbs, silver hair, eyes like liquid moonlight. When I open my eyes, I gasp. My body has shifted, taking on the ethereal beauty of a dark elf female. The leather outfit clings to new curves, accentuating my transformed figure. The patrolling elf stops in his tracks, eyes widening as he spots me. "My lady," he calls out, voice filled with awe and desire. "I didn't see you arrive. Are you new to the camp?"
There comes a time when you must sacrifice everything for something bigger than yourself.
My job was to kidnap her, not fall in love with her.
What if Julius had seen me use magic? He must never know.
What's happening to me? What's happening to my magic?
He would never understand. He'd see me as a liability, a risk too great to keep close.
When everything begins to fall apart, and the only remedy is to sacrifice your heart.
No, I can't let him find out.
I propose we take Dukan out of the picture, permanently.
Please, don't do this.
You will never escape me.
I can try.
You will fail.
And that time is now.
Savannah, run! Chapter 8, Saturus. This scene is about to get too steamy for YouTube's comfort. And as much as we'd love to keep going, their guidelines say we need to stop here.
To continue releasing these free audiobooks on this platform, we've got to play by the rules.
But the passion doesn't end here.
Visit worldsofprotheka.com to hear the full, uncut version of this fantasy romance, and every daring moment that YouTube can't handle.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off unabridged audiobooks in the Worlds of Protheka.
Don't let YouTube hold you back. Immerse yourself in a world of magic, danger, and unfiltered passion.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
Listen unabridged and you'll never want to go back. Chapter 9, Claudia.
Sorry for the interruption. I know you were gearing up for a steamy scene, but it's way too hot for YouTube.
If we want to keep sharing our stories for free, we have to abide by YouTube's guidelines.
To get the full unabridged audiobook, go to worldsofprotheka.com.
Browse through unabridged audiobooks, countless ebooks and bundles offered at a discount.
If the thought of me whispering all the dirty details into your ear isn't enticing enough, use discount code YouTube30 to get 30% off of all digital products.
Story after story, audiobook after audiobook, the worlds of Protheka are waiting for you.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
But unabridged, it's unforgettable.
Chapter 10, Saturus. The door creaks open as I shoulder my way into the dimly lit room. Claudia's limp form weighs heavily in my arms, her head lolling against my chest. Why am I even bothering with this human? I should have left her where she fell. Room's all yours, sir, the innkeeper grunts, jangling a set of iron keys. Need anything else? Leave us, I growl, my borrowed dark elf voice rougher than intended. The man scurries away, door slamming in his wake. Good riddance. I lay Claudia on the threadbare mattress. My fingers linger on her cheek, tracing the curve of her jaw. Warmth radiates from her skin, a stark contrast to the chill that perpetually clings to my own flesh. "What are you doing to me, little human?" I mutter, perching on the edge of the bed. Her chest rises and falls in steady rhythm. Alive. Safe. Why do I care? I should leave. There are 1,000 more entertaining diversions awaiting me in this realm. Chaos to sow, desires to feed upon. Yet I remain rooted to this spot, unable to tear my gaze from her face. My hand drifts to her hair, stroking the silky strands. The contact sends a jolt through me, a spark of something. Possession? No, that's absurd. She's nothing more than a fleeting amusement. But as I cradle her head, supporting her neck, an unsettling comfort settles over me, like a missing piece slotting into place. "Damn it all!" I hiss, fangs elongating despite myself. "What sort of spell have you cast, Claudia?" She doesn't stir, oblivious to my inner turmoil. I shake my head, willing away these ridiculous notions. I'm a demon, for damn sake. I don't get attached to humans. Do I? I can't shake this nagging feeling. Something's off about Claudia, and it's driving me insane. That contract. It shouldn't exist. Who dared to mark her before me? My fingers trace the curve of her neck, searching for any sign of another demon's claim. Nothing. But I can sense it, that faint echo of power. "Damn this," I growl, rising from the bed. I need answers. I snap my fingers, summoning my servants from the shadows. 2 wispy forms materialize, their eyes glowing embers in the dim room. "Find out who contracted this human," I order, gesturing to Claudia's sleeping form. "I want answers. Now." They bow silently, melting back into the darkness. Good. Let them do the dirty work while I figure out what in the abyss is going on here. I pace the small room, my gaze drawn back to Claudia every few seconds. She looks so fragile, so human. Yet there's something about her that sets my teeth on edge. A familiar energy that I can't quite place. "Who are you?" I mutter, leaning closer to study her face. Her eyelids flutter and I freeze. Is she waking up? Part of me hopes she does. I have questions that need answering. But another part wants her to stay asleep, wants to keep watching her in this peaceful state. By the deceiver. What is wrong with me? I growl, running a hand through my hair. This isn't like me. I'm a demon, for damn sake. I don't get attached to humans. I use them, I feed on their desires, and I move on. That's how it's always been. So why can't I stop staring at her? My eyes trace the curve of her neck, the rise and fall of her chest. I remember the taste of her, the way she responded to my touch. It was different, special even. And that scares the life out of me. I force myself to look away, focusing on the peeling wallpaper instead. But even as I try to distract myself, my mind keeps circling back to the mystery of her contract. The questions gnaw at me, fueling a restlessness I can't shake. I need answers, and I need them soon, before this human drives me completely insane. Claudia's eyes flutter open, and I feel an unexpected surge of relief. I quickly mask it with a grin, leaning over her. Well, well. Sleeping Beauty awakens. She blinks, disoriented. Where? Never mind that. I cut her off. I've got news. The captain's throwing a little shindig tonight. Heard it straight from our gracious innkeeper. Her brow furrows. The captain? Indeed. And it just so happens he's the one who handled those young girls earlier. Including your dear sister, I'd wager. Understanding dawns in her eyes, followed quickly by determination. Good girl. This is your chance, pet. Time to put those new skills to use. Seduce the bastard. Get your information. Thank you, Claudia murmurs, her voice soft and tinged with embarrassment. I can't help myself. My hand moves of its own accord, caressing her cheek. Her skin is warm, alive. It stirs something in me I'd rather not examine too closely. No need for thanks, darling, I purr. You've got an eternity to show your gratitude. She shivers at my touch and I feel that spark again. Dangerous territory. I stand abruptly, breaking the moment. Time to go. Get ready. Claudia nods, sitting up slowly. I watch as she steadies herself, determination hardening her features. She's stronger than she looks, this one. I turn away, giving her a moment of privacy. Don't keep me waiting, pet. We've got a party to crash.
Chapter 11. Claudia. The door bursts open, startling me from my reverie. Two shadowy figures materialize, their forms rippling like smoke. Saturus's servants. My breath catches as they approach him, whispering urgently. I strain to hear, but their voices are too low. Frustration bubbles in my chest. What could be so important? Saturus's expression shifts, his eyes widening. Then, slowly, a grin spreads across his face. He turns to me, that smile growing impossibly wider. My heart hammers against my ribs. Why is he looking at me like that? Like I'm some kind of prize he's just won. Well, what do you know? He purrs, sauntering towards me. It seems we have quite the interesting situation on our hands. I swallow hard, willing my voice not to shake. What do you mean? He chuckles, a sound that sends shivers down my spine. It appears, my dear Claudia, that you and I have a much deeper connection than either of us realized. My stomach drops. What is he talking about? I want to demand answers, but the words stick in my throat. You see, he continues, circling me like a predator, it turns out that you're not just any human who stumbled into my domain. You're mine, bound to me by an ancient contract. The world tilts on its axis. What? I manage to croak out. Oh, yes, Saturus says, his voice dripping with satisfaction. It seems one of your ancestors made a deal with me long ago, and now, after all this time, that debt has finally come due. I can't breathe. This can't be happening. I came here to save my sister, not to become… what? A slave? Don't look so terrified, Saturus laughs, cupping my chin. Being mine isn't such a terrible fate. In fact, I think you'll find it quite pleasurable. My cheeks burn at his words, at the memory of our earlier encounters. What's wrong with me? I should be horrified, disgusted. Instead, a part of me thrills at the possessiveness in his voice. I'm losing my mind. That has to be it. There's no other explanation for the way my body responds to him, even as my mind reels from this revelation. Saturus's expression shifts, a mix of intrigue and something else I can't quite place. He leans in close. I've got news about your sister. My heart leaps into my throat. Narina, where is she? We have to go now. I try to push past him, but his iron grip on my arm stops me cold. Not so fast, little one. It's not that simple. Frustration bubbles up inside me. What do you mean? Just take us there. Saturus's eyes narrow. The captain's private residence, heavily fortified. Even my powers have limits. My stomach drops. But you're a demon. Can't you just teleport in? He laughs, but there's no humour in it. Anti-demon magic. The attacks have made them cautious. I slump against the wall, despair threatening to overwhelm me. So what? We just give up? I can't abandon her. Saturus tilts my chin up, forcing me to meet his gaze. I didn't say that. We'll need a plan, something clever. The music pulses through my veins, a discordant rhythm that matches the chaos in my heart. I twirl and sway, my body moving to the beat while my mind races. My long white hair moves in time with my hips. The silken costume clings to my skin, a constant reminder of the role I'm playing. The air is thick with the scent of perfume, sweat, and alcohol, making my head spin. Across the room, the captain lounges on his throne-like chair, basking in all his profound glory. This whole spectacle is due to the captain receiving some pretentious award. His bloodshot eyes continue roving over the dancers with predatory interest. My stomach churns. Is he looking for his next victim? Maybe his consolation prize was one of the poor, defenseless girls they keep as prisoners. Did he have a hand in giving my sister over to that monster of a general? I force a sultry smile, letting my hips sway as I move closer to his dais. His gaze locks onto me, and I fight the urge to recoil. Instead, I blow him a kiss, bile rising in my throat. Rage bubbles up inside me, hot and vicious. My newfound demon power surges through my veins, begging for release. I imagine plunging my hand into the captain's chest, ripping out his black heart. It would be so easy, so satisfying. But then I catch a glimpse of Saturus across the room. Even in his disguise, those mismatched eyes are unmistakable. Our gazes lock, and a wave of calm washes over me. Right, the plan. I can't lose control now. I take a deep breath, forcing my features into a coy smile. The face I wear isn't my own. It's a near-perfect copy of the captain's sister-in-law, his forbidden desire. The knowledge makes my skin crawl, but I use it to my advantage. You there, lovely one? The captain's voice booms across the room, cutting through the din of the party. Come, serve me some wine. I saunter over, swaying my hips in a way that makes me want to scrub myself raw. Of course, my lord, I purr, pouring him a generous goblet of deep red wine. The aroma of the rich vintage mingles with the captain's cloying cologne, making my stomach turn. His meaty hand closes around my wrist. Why don't you have a seat, my dear? He pats his lap, grinning lecherously. The flickering candlelight casts shadows across his face, making him look even more sinister. Every instinct screams at me to run, to fight, to do anything but comply. But Narina's face flashes through my mind. I have to do this. For her. Swallowing my revulsion, I perch delicately on the captain's knee. His arm snakes around my waist, pulling me flush against him. The stench of alcohol and sweat assaults my nose, and I struggle not to gag. Feed me, he commands, opening his mouth like an overgrown baby bird. I pick up a grape from his plate, fighting the urge to shove the bunch down his throat until he chokes. Instead, I gently place one between his lips, my fingers brushing against his mouth. The fruit's skin is cool and smooth, a stark contrast to the captain's hot, moist lips. He sucks on my fingertips, and bile rises in my throat. I want nothing more than to vomit all over his expensive uniform. But I can't. Not yet. The captain's face looms closer, his breath hot and sour. I turn my head at the last second, his lips grazing my cheek instead of my mouth. A girlish giggle escapes me as I press a finger to his chest. My lord, not here, I coo, batting my eyelashes. What would people say? He laughs, a booming sound that makes my skin crawl. His meaty hand squeezes my arse, hard enough to bruise. Since when do I care what they think, little minx? Before I can respond, he stands abruptly, scooping me up like a sack of grain. I yelp in surprise, my borrowed face flushing with genuine embarrassment. Gentlemen, the captain bellows, addressing the room. I'm afraid I must retire for the evening. This lovely creature requires my personal attention. Raucous cheers and lewd comments follow us as he carries me from the hall. His grip on my backside never loosens, fingers digging into soft flesh. I want to claw his eyes out, to scream until my throat bleeds. Instead, I force out another simpering laugh. Oh, you beast, I titter, tapping his chest playfully. "Whatever shall I do with you?" He grins, all teeth and hunger. "I have a few ideas." Panic rises in my throat as we leave the crowded room behind. My eyes dart frantically, searching for a familiar face. Where is Saturus? He wouldn't abandon me now, would he? The captain's quarters loom ahead, a fortress of stone and dark wood. My heart pounds so hard I'm sure he must feel it. What if Saturus can't get to me in there? What if I'm truly on my own? I crane my neck, desperately seeking those mismatched eyes in the shadows. Nothing. The demon is gone, leaving me alone with this monster of a man. Anxiety claws at my insides as the captain kicks open his bedroom door. I'm out of time, out of options. The heavy door slams shut behind us, sealing my fate.
Chapter 12. Saturus. The flash of demonic energy prickles my skin, sending a shiver down my spine. I round the corner, fangs bared, ready to confront whatever lesser demon dares encroach on my territory. The hallway stands empty, torchlight flickering on bare stone walls, casting dancing shadows that seem to mock my search. The air is thick with the scent of brimstone and ancient magic, a heady mixture that sets my nerves on edge. "Show yourself," I growl, my voice echoing off the cold stone. No response. The lingering scent of brimstone tickles my nostrils, stronger now. Something was here but vanished in an instant. Curious. And irritating. My fingers twitch, itching to wrap around the throat of this elusive intruder. I press my palm against the wall, feeling the rough texture of the stone as I send out tendrils of power to search for any trace of the intruder. The magic pulses through the structure, seeking, probing, but finding nothing. It's as if they simply winked out of existence, leaving behind only the faintest whisper of their presence. A low chuckle escapes my lips, the sound a mix of amusement and frustration. Clever little pest. This game of hide-and-seek amuses me, but I have more pressing matters to attend to, namely the delectable morsel I left with that lecherous dark elf captain. The thought of her in his grimy paws sets my blood boiling, a possessive rage building within me. Claudia is mine, bound to me by an ancient contract, and no one else has the right to touch her. I turn to head back, then freeze. There it is again, that faint pulse of demonic energy. It feels familiar somehow, ancient. A memory tugs at the edges of my mind, but slips away before I can grasp it. It's like trying to catch smoke with my bare hands, frustrating and seemingly impossible. Enough of this, I mutter, my patience wearing thin. With a flick of my wrist, I summon a crackling orb of dark energy. The hallway floods with its eerie glow, revealing every shadow and crevice. The purple-black light casts an otherworldly pallor on the stone, making the very air seem alive with malevolent potential. Still, there's no sign of the intruder. I dissolve the orb with a frustrated snarl, the sudden darkness momentarily blinding. Whatever game this is, I refuse to be toyed with. I am Saturus, a lust demon of unparalleled power. No lesser being should be able to elude me like this. The very thought is an insult to my pride and position. The nagging sense of familiarity gnaws at me, an itch I can't scratch. It's tied to the girl somehow, I'm certain of it. To the ancient contract that binds her to me, a contract I made. When? The details are frustratingly vague, lost in the mists of time and my long slumber. A contract I made. The realization hits me like a physical blow, staggering me. Memories come flooding back. The summoner, a desperate man with fire in his eyes and determination in his voice. The promise, sealed in blood and magic, to claim his first female descendant. The centuries of slumber that followed, dreamless and dark. It all makes sense now, the pieces falling into place with a clarity that's almost painful. I return to the party, my eyes scanning the crowd for Claudia. The pulsing music and raucous laughter grate on my nerves as I push through the throng of drunken revelers. The air is thick with the scent of sweat, alcohol, and desire. On any other night it would be intoxicating. Now it's merely an annoyance. No sign of her or that bastard captain. A growl rumbles in my chest, low and dangerous. Where is she? I reach out through our contract, feeling for her essence. The connection is like a silken thread, delicate yet unbreakable. There, a faint tug to the east, a whisper of her presence calling to me. Without hesitation, I follow it, shifting into my dark elf form as I go. The change ripples through me, a momentary discomfort as my body reshapes itself to blend in with these lesser beings. 2 guards block my path at a heavy wooden door, their armor gleaming dully in the torchlight. Their posture is alert, hands resting on the hilts of their swords. Halt! This area is off limits! I straighten, adopting an air of authority. My voice is smooth, confident, brooking no argument. There's been a change in the rotation. I'm taking over your post. They exchange glances, a flicker of uncertainty passing between them. Where's the rest of your group? On their way, I reply smoothly. Got held up dealing with some rowdy guests. You know how these parties can get? The guards nod, seemingly satisfied. As they turn to leave, one pauses, his brow furrowing as he looks me over more closely. Wait a minute. I don't recognize. I don't give him time to finish. My fist connects with his jaw, the satisfying crunch of bone accompanied by a spray of blood. He goes sprawling, armor clanking against the stone floor. The other guard barely has time to draw his sword before I'm on him, fangs bared in a feral grin. He manages to get off a wild swing, the blade whistling past my ear close enough to stir my hair. I duck under his arm, driving my elbow into his solar plexus with enough force to dent his chest plate. He doubles over, gasping for air that won't come. The first guard struggles to his feet, fumbling for his weapon with shaking hands. I spin, catching him with a vicious backhand that sends him crashing into the wall. His head connects with the stone with a sickening thud, and he slumps to the ground, unconscious or dead. I neither know nor care. The second guard recovers, lunging at me with a snarl of rage and fear. I sidestep gracefully, grabbing his wrist and twisting with inhuman strength. The sword clatters to the floor, the metallic ring echoing in the sudden silence. He howls in pain as I wrench his arm behind his back, driving him to his knees. Where is the captain? I hiss in his ear, my breath hot against his skin. Go to hell, demon scum! He spits, defiant even in defeat. I chuckle darkly, the sound sending a visible shiver through his body. Oh, I've been. It's rather lovely this time of year. Now let's try this again. My grip tightens, bones grinding together under my fingers. The guard whimpers, his bravado crumbling. In his quarters, he gasps. Please, no more. I release him, letting him collapse to the floor. Thank you for your cooperation, I say, my tone mockingly polite. Do give my regards to your captain when you see him in the afterlife. As I step over his prone form and push open the heavy door, my thoughts return to Claudia. The connection between us pulses stronger now, a beacon guiding me to her. Whatever that lecherous captain has planned, he'll soon learn the price of touching what's mine. Hold on, my dear, I think as I descend into the depths of the fortress. I'm coming for you. And heaven help anyone who stands in my way.
Chapter 13. Claudia. The captain's lips trail down my neck, his hot breath reeking of alcohol. I suppress a shudder, forcing out a breathy moan instead. Oh, Captain, I purr, bile rising in my throat. You're so strong. His hands paw at my body, rough and demanding. I arch away, disguising my revulsion as eagerness. Tell me, I whisper, nipping at his earlobe, where do you keep your most precious treasures? He chuckles, low and predatory. Eager for riches, are we? Only for you, I lie, my skin crawling. His fingers dig into my hips. My private chambers. But you won't find anything there tonight. I press closer, fighting nausea. And why's that, my brave warrior? Because, he slurs, I've got something much better right here. He lunges for another kiss. I dodge, trailing my fingers down his chest. The captain's hands roam my body, his touch leaving trails of disgust in their wake. I force a sultry smile, suppressing the urge to vomit. You're insatiable, I coo, my voice dripping with false desire. He grins, revealing sharp teeth. You haven't seen anything yet, sweetheart. My heart pounds, anxiety clawing at my chest. This fortress, this den of monsters. Somewhere within, Narina waits. I have to endure, have to play along. Tell me more, I breathe, trailing a finger down his chest. What do you do to the humans you catch? His eyes gleam with cruel delight. Oh, we have our fun. Break them in, make them scream. Images of Narina, terrified and alone, flash through my mind. I bite back a snarl, channeling it into a breathy gasp instead. How exciting, I purr. Show me. He crushes his lips against mine, his tongue invading my mouth. I return the kiss with feigned passion, even as revulsion churns in my gut. His hands grip my waist, pulling me closer. You're a feisty one, he growls. I'll enjoy taming you. Taming, breaking. The words echo in my head, stoking a fire deep within. How many has he tortured? How many lives has he destroyed? As his lips trail down my neck, leaving sloppy, wet kisses, something shifts inside me. The anxiety melts away, replaced by a searing, all-consuming hatred. This monster, this sadistic creature, he deserves to suffer. I run my fingers through his hair, imagining tearing it out by the roots. I scrape my nails down his back, wishing I could flay the skin from his bones. More, I moan, the word dripping with venom disguised as desire. He takes it as encouragement, his hands growing bolder, more demanding. But with each touch my resolve hardens. I will find Narina, I will save her, and I will make this bastard pay. The captain's rough hands tear at my clothes, shredding fabric and exposing skin. I suppress a shudder, forcing myself to remain still as his hungry gaze rakes over my body. Beautiful, he growls, fumbling with his own garments. My heart pounds, a mix of fear and anticipation coursing through my veins. Just a little longer, just... The door crashes open. Saturus strolls in, casual as you please, as if he owns the place. Blood drips from his hands, spattering the floor with crimson droplets. In his grip, a severed head dangles by its hair. A dark elf soldier, eyes wide with frozen terror. The captain whirls, face contorting with rage. What is the meaning of... His words die as he takes in the grisly sight. Shock flashes across his features, followed swiftly by fear. I don't hesitate. In one fluid motion, I snatch the captain's weapon from the bedside table and level it at his chest. My hands don't shake. My voice doesn't waver. Where's my sister? The captain's eyes dart between me and Saturus, panic rising. I don't... Wrong answer. I press the blade closer, its tip dimpling his skin. The girls you took this morning, where are they? The captain's eyes widen in confusion, then narrow with rage. You little bitch, he snarls, lunging at me. I brace for impact, but Saturus moves faster than I can blink. He grabs the captain mid-lunge, tossing him across the room like a rag doll. The dark elf slams into the wall with a sickening crunch. Before he can recover, I'm on him. I drive his own sword through his shoulder, pinning him to the wall. The captain lets out an agonized scream that sends chills down my spine. Shut up, I hiss, twisting the blade. No one can hear you over the party. His face contorts in pain, eyes wild with fear. "Please," he gasps. "I don't know what you're talking about. Let me go." I lean in close, my voice low and dangerous. "The girls! This morning. Where are they?" "I swear I don't know," he pleads, blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. Fury rises in me, hot and consuming. I feel my form shifting, melting away the dark elf disguise. The captain's eyes widen in horror as he takes in my true appearance. You're human," he chokes out. Behind me I hear a rustle of movement. The air grows thick with an otherworldly energy that makes my skin prickle. I don't need to look to know that Saturus has shed his disguise as well. The captain's gaze fixes on something over my shoulder, and his face drains of all colour. The captain's face crumples, tears and snot mingling with the blood on his chin. "I told you I don't know," he wails, his voice cracking. My fingers twitch, itching to tear the truth from his lying throat. But before I can act, Saturus moves. He reaches for a decorative pike mounted on the wall, its wicked point gleaming in the dim light. With inhuman speed, he drives it through the captain's other shoulder. The dark elf's scream cuts off abruptly as the metal punctures his lung. Blood pours from the new wound, joining the growing puddle on the floor. The metallic scent fills the air, making my head spin. But it's not disgust I feel. It's excitement. I step closer, feeling a strange heat rising in my chest. My vision sharpens, the world taking on an odd reddish tint. Is this the demon power Saturus gave me? "Where is my sister?" I snarl, each word punctuated by the pounding of my heart. From the depths of the darkness of Protheka,
Or clawing up from the realms of fantasy.
come the most fearsome beasts you have ever seen.
These monsters are done watching from the shadows.
Now, as they step into the light, something unexpected grips them.
Something even they can't fight off.
Love,
Vampires.
demons,
Dark elves.
gods.
Minotaurs. Creatures of light and dark.
They will protect their mates.
Do whatever needs to be done.
Morally grey heroes who will burn the world to protect the women who love them.
10 audiobooks.
Fall into over 60 hours of fantasy romance.
20 ebooks.
Over 1 million words of these brutes who will protect their women.
Even if they might destroy themselves in the process.
Get the immersive Protheka fantasy romance bundle.
For 80% off, right now, dive into Protheka at a once-in-a-lifetime discount.
The first bundle to offer both ebooks and audiobooks on worldsofprotheka.com. Protheka's magic is eternal, and this romantasy bundle will make it endless.
Chapter 14. Saturus. The captain's pathetic whimpers grate on my nerves, echoing off the damp stone walls of the dimly lit chamber. The air is thick with the metallic scent of blood and the acrid tang of fear. I materialize a wicked blade, its edge gleaming in the flickering torchlight. Claudia's eyes widen as I present it to her, handle first. "Take it, my dear. Let me show you the finer points of persuasion." She grasps the knife, her fingers trembling slightly. I step behind her, my chest pressed against her back. My hands ghost over her arms, guiding her movements. The heat of her body seeps through her clothes, igniting a fire in my veins. "Start here," I whisper, directing the blade to the captain's collarbone. "Shallow cuts. We don't want him passing out too soon." Claudia hesitates for a heartbeat, her breath catching. I can sense the internal struggle within her, the last vestiges of her humanity warring with her newfound darkness. Then, with a soft exhale, she presses the knife against his skin. A thin line of crimson appears, eliciting a sharp gasp from our captive. "Good," I purr, my lips brushing her ear. "Now trace along his ribs. Slowly." She follows my instructions, her movements becoming more fluid with each passing moment. The captain's screams fill the air, a symphony of agony that sends shivers of delight down my spine. Claudia's breathing quickens, and I can smell the intoxicating mix of fear and excitement emanating from her. "Where's my sister?" Claudia demands, her voice low and dangerous. There's a new edge to her tone, a darkness that wasn't there before. It's music to my ears. I don't know," he sputters, spittle and blood flying from his lips. "Please, I swear." I click my tongue. He's lying, darling. Let's try something more persuasive. I guide her hand lower to the soft flesh of his abdomen. Here. Deeper this time. Claudia plunges the blade in, twisting it slightly. The captain howls, his body convulsing against his restraints. The sound of tearing flesh and snapping sinew fills the air, a grisly melody that makes my heart race with excitement. The captain's eyes roll wildly, blood dripping from his lips. The general, he took them. Basement, his torture chamber for human women. I feel Claudia stiffen against me, her grip on the knife tightening. The scent of her rage is intoxicating, a heady perfume that makes my head spin with desire. "Please," the captain sobs, his voice barely more than a whisper. "Kill me. End it." Claudia's voice trembles, a mix of emotions coloring her words. "I didn't want to kill you, but with the blood he's losing, death is inevitable," I murmur in her ear. My fingers trail down her arm, savoring the warmth of her skin. I have a way. I grin, savoring the delicious mix of fear and anticipation radiating from Claudia. Her transformation is intoxicating, from meek human to vengeful demoness. I lean in close, my lips brushing her ear. "There's a way to make his suffering eternal, my dear. Kill him now, and his soul will be mine to torment for eternity in the depths of my dungeons." Claudia's eyes shimmer with unholy glee. A soft giggle escapes her lips, sending shivers down my spine. The sound is both innocent and terrifying, a perfect encapsulation of her newfound nature. "Forever," she whispers, her voice dripping with dark promise. I nod, drinking in her excitement. "Forever. Your revenge will never end." She turns to face the captain, who whimpers pathetically. The knife in her hand gleams, hungry for blood. Claudia's eyes narrow, a predatory smile spreading across her face. In this moment, she's never looked more beautiful. I lean in close, my lips brushing Claudia's ear. "Stab him in the heart, my dear. Then we'll drink his blood together." Her eyes widen, a mix of shock and excitement dancing across her face. She nods, her grip tightening on the knife. I can feel her pulse racing, her body thrumming with anticipation. "Do it," I urge, my voice a low growl. Claudia steps forward, her movements fluid and purposeful. The captain's eyes bulge with terror as she raises the blade. In one swift motion, she plunges it deep into his chest. His scream pierces the air, a final agonized wail before death claims him. The room falls silent, save for the soft drip of blood hitting the floor. Claudia stands there, transfixed by the sight of her handiwork, her chest heaving with exertion and excitement. I snap my fingers and 2 ornate crystal glasses materialize in my hand. Carefully, I collect the captain's still warm blood, filling each glass halfway. The rich, coppery scent fills the air, making my mouth water. "A toast," I purr, offering one to Claudia. "To new beginnings." She takes the glass, her fingers brushing mine. The contact sends a jolt of electricity through my body. We cross our arms, mimicking the gesture of human newlyweds. Our eyes lock as we raise the glasses to our lips. I watch, mesmerized, as Claudia takes her first sip. She doesn't flinch, doesn't hesitate. Instead, a small smile plays at the corners of her mouth. Her tongue darts out to catch a stray droplet, and I have to suppress a groan at the sight. We drink deeply, never breaking eye contact. The metallic tang of blood fills my mouth, intoxicating and familiar. But there's something different this time. a sweetness I've never tasted before. It's as if Claudia's transformation has added a new flavor to the blood, making it even more irresistible. As we lower our empty glasses, I see a new fire burning in Claudia's eyes. She's crossed a line, embraced the darkness within herself, and I find myself craving more. I gaze at Claudia, her eyes shimmering with a newfound darkness that sets my blood on fire. The realization hits me like a bolt of lightning. She's perfect, absolutely perfect for me. "You're exquisite," I growl, pulling her close. "Made for me in every way." Before she can respond, I capture her lips in a searing kiss. She melts against me, her body molding to mine as if we were two pieces of a puzzle finally coming together. My hands roam her curves, leaving trails of heat in their wake. Claudia's fingers tangle in my hair, tugging me closer. I groan, the sound rumbling deep in my chest. My lips leave hers, trailing down her jaw to the sensitive spot just below her ear. She gasps, arching into me. "Saturus," she breathes, her voice thick with desire. I nip at her earlobe, savoring the way she shivers against me. "Say it again," I command. "Saturus," she moans, louder this time. The sound of my name on her lips is sweeter than any music I've ever heard. A small part of my mind tries to remain focused on our mission. We still need to find Narina and deal with the general. But for now, I allow myself to revel in this moment, in the perfect union of darkness and desire that Claudia and I have become. This is just the beginning of our reign of terror, and I can't wait to see what delicious chaos we'll unleash upon the world.
Chapter 15, Claudia.
As much as Samara and I want to finish what these two characters have started, it looks like this chapter is about to get too hot for YouTube to handle.
Unfortunately, we have to pause here because their guidelines won't allow us to reveal the spiciest details.
To keep bringing you these free audiobooks, we have to follow their rules.
But don't worry. You can experience the full, unabridged version over at worldsofprotheka.com, where the boundaries of passion and fantasy collide.
Use code YouTube30 for 30% off any of our unabridged audiobooks set in the rich and immersive worlds of Protheka.
Protheka's magic is eternal.
With these scenes, it will be unforgettable. Chapter 16. Saturus. Blood splatters across Claudia's face as she rips through another dark elf's throat. The crimson droplets glisten on her skin like rubies, stark against the pale stone walls of the fortress. Damn, she's magnificent. "Having fun, darling?" I purr, leaning against a crumbling pillar. The air is thick with the metallic scent of blood and the acrid tang of dark magic. She whirls, eyes blazing with unholy fire. Her chest heaves with exertion, each breath a testament to the raw power coursing through her veins. "Aren't you going to help?" I chuckle, the sound echoing off the vaulted ceiling. "And miss this show? Not a chance." Her lips curl into a feral grin. She's embracing her newfound power, reveling in the carnage. It's intoxicating to watch. Claudia's transformation from a timid human to this glorious creature of darkness is beyond my wildest dreams. A guard charges at her from behind, his boots scraping against the stone floor. Before I can warn her, she spins and drives her blade deep into his gut. The wet gurgle of his final breath is music to my ears. "Brava," I applaud. "You're a natural." Claudia yanks her weapon free, letting the body crumple at her feet. She stares at her blood-stained hands, a mix of wonder and satisfaction in her eyes. I never knew I had this in me. "Oh, it was always there, love. I just helped you unlock it." I can't help but feel a surge of pride. She's everything I hoped for, and more. She stalks toward me, covered in gore and looking absolutely delectable. Her movements are fluid, predatory. Is that right? I grab her waist, pulling her close. The heat of her body sears through my clothes. "You were made for this. For me." Our lips crash together in a savage kiss. I can taste the metallic tang of blood on her tongue. It's divine, For a moment, the world falls away and there's nothing but us and the intoxicating darkness we share. A muffled shout reminds us we're not alone. More guards pour into the hallway, weapons drawn. Their armor clanks as they rush towards us, a cacophony of steel and desperation. Claudia breaks away, eyes gleaming with bloodlust. "Shall we?" I bow with a flourish. "After you, my dear. I do so love to watch you work." She launches herself at the newcomers, a whirlwind of steel and fury. Limbs fly as she carves through their ranks. Each scream, each spray of blood sends a thrill down my spine. This is what I've waited centuries for, a partner worthy of my power, my darkness. And she's even more glorious than I could have imagined. Claudia's sword sings a deadly tune, but a few of the dark elves manage to slip past her guard. My turn. I step forward, a grin stretching across my face. These fools think they can best me? They're sorely mistaken. With preternatural speed, I close the distance. My claws extend, slicing through the air and through their armor. They don't even have time to scream before they crumple to the ground, their lifeblood painting the stones a deep, satisfying red. "Mine!" Claudia growls, claiming another victim. Her eyes flick to me, a spark of challenge in their depths. She's enjoying this, the thrill of the fight, the taste of victory, and I'm more than happy to indulge her. Together we move through the corridor like a storm, unstoppable and fierce. Our enemies fall before us, their numbers dwindling with each passing moment. Claudia's blade finds its mark again and again, her movements a deadly dance that I can't tear my eyes away from. "You know," I call out between strikes, "you're making me fall for you all over again." Claudia laughs, a sound both joyous and terrifying. "Careful, demon. I might start to think you have a heart." "Only for you, darling. Only for you." As we continue our descent to the basement in search of Narina, a group of guards try to flank us from a hidden chamber. I'm there in an instant, my power flaring. A wave of darkness emanates from me, a tangible force that sends them flying into the walls. Bones crunch on impact, their cries cut short as the shadows consume them. Claudia glances back at me, a new level of respect, and something else, something darker and more intoxicating, shining in her gaze. She likes this side of me, the side that revels in chaos and destruction, and I revel in her approval. We descend a narrow staircase, our steps echoing ominously around us. The air grows colder, damper. We must be nearing the dungeons where they're holding Narina. "We have to be getting close," Claudia murmurs, her grip tightening on her sword. I nod, sensing her determination. "We'll find her, love, and make them pay for taking her." Dark elves swarm from above and below, but we stand our ground, fighting back to back. Steel clashes against steel, magic against magic. We are a force unto ourselves, a pair of demons in human form, wreaking havoc on those who dare to cross us. I can feel Claudia's energy pulsing alongside mine, a potent mix of rage and exhilaration. We feed off each other, our movements syncing up until it's hard to tell where she ends and I begin. We are two halves of the same whole, a perfect match in every way. As the last of the dark elves falls, we stand amidst the carnage, chests heaving, eyes locked. The air between us crackles with electricity, a silent promise of the pleasure that awaits us once this is all over. But for now, we have a mission to complete, a sister to save. Claudia's resolve hardens, her determination a palpable force. I nod, a silent vow passing between us. We will see this through to the end, no matter what it takes. "Narina's close," Claudia says, her voice tight with anticipation. "I can almost sense her." I place a hand on her shoulder, feeling the tension in her muscles. "Then let's not keep her waiting. I'm sure she's eager to see what her big sister has become." Claudia's eyes meet mine, a mix of emotions swirling in their depths. "Do you think she'll be afraid of me?" She'd be a fool not to be, I reply honestly. But she'll also see that you did all this for her. Love is a powerful thing, darling, even in its darkest forms. She nods, squaring her shoulders. Then let's finish this. With a shared glance, we press on, our path lit by the fires of vengeance and desire. The dungeon awaits, and with it, the culmination of our bloody quest. Together, we are invincible, a force of nature unleashed upon this fortress of evil. And I, for one, can't wait to see how it all ends.
Chapter 17. Claudia. Blood drips from my fingers, warm and sticky. Each drop sings through my veins, feeding a hunger I never knew existed. I lick my lips, savouring the metallic taste. More, I whisper, my voice husky with desire. Saturus grins, his eyes gleaming with approval. Patience, my pet. We have work to do. We descend into the basement, the air growing thick with the stench of fear and decay. My heart races, not with fear, but anticipation. Suddenly Saturus freezes. His nostrils flare, and a low growl rumbles in his chest. What is it? I ask, tensing for a fight. He turns to me, his mismatched eyes narrowed. I sense a power, similar to mine. What? My blood runs cold. A demon, here. Saturus nods, his face a mask of concentration. Powerful, ancient. My mind reels. Another demon? What could this mean for Narina? For us? Should we turn back? I hate the words even as they leave my mouth. Saturus laughs, the sound sending shivers down my spine. And miss the entertainment? Never. He pulls me close, his lips brushing my ear. Remember, you're mine now. No other demon can claim you. I nod, heat pooling in my belly despite the danger. Yours. Always. We press on, the air growing heavier with each step. The basement stretches before us, a labyrinth of shadows and secrets. Somewhere in this darkness, my sister waits. And now, apparently, so does another demon. My newly awakened senses prickle. Something is wrong. The silence is too complete, the darkness too absolute. It's as if the very air is holding its breath, waiting. We round a corner, and the stench hits me like a physical blow. My newfound senses reel, overwhelmed by the miasma of blood, decay, and something otherworldly. Saturus, what? The words die in my throat as my eyes adjust to the gloom. Chained to the far wall, a figure writhes in agony. Blood, darker and thicker than any human's, oozes from countless wounds. But it's not the blood that makes my heart stutter. It's the eyes. Glowing with an infernal light, they lock onto mine with a mixture of pain and fury. Another demon, chained, bleeding. My gaze drops, and a scream tears from my lips. Bodies, so many bodies. Young girls, their limbs twisted at unnatural angles, their eyes wide and unseeing. Narina! I shriek, dropping to my knees beside the nearest corpse. Not her. I crawl to the next. Not her. Narina! I scream again, frantically searching each face. My sister has to be here. She has to be. But she's not. I whirl on Saturus, fury and desperation clawing at my insides. Where is she? You said she'd be here. He doesn't answer, his attention fixed on the chained demon. Their gazes are locked in some silent battle of wills. Saturus! I grab his arm, uncaring of the danger. My sister isn't here. Where is she? He tears his eyes away from the other demon, looking at me with an expression I can't decipher. She's not among the dead, Claudia. That's something. Relief floods through me at Saturus's words. Narina's not among the dead. There's still hope. The chained demon's eyes lock onto mine. The one you seek is deeper in the basement. The general isn't finished with her yet. My heart leaps. Narina's alive. I turn to sprint deeper into the darkness, but a raspy voice stops me cold. Wait, the demon croaks. The general. He's not what you think. I freeze, torn between urgency and caution. Saturus tenses beside me. What do you mean? I demand. The demon's chains rattle as he shifts. He's a demon hunter, powerful, dangerous. Ice spreads through my veins. A demon hunter. My gaze darts to Saturus, fear clawing at my throat. How? Saturus growls. How did a demon hunter infiltrate the dark elves? The chained demon laughs, a bitter sound. You think the dark elves care who does their dirty work? As long as humans suffer, they turn a blind eye. I clench my fists, nails biting into my palms. I don't care what he is. My sister Dash. You should care, the demon interrupts. He'll sense what you've become, what you both are, and he won't hesitate to add you to his collection. Saturus's eyes narrow. Why tell us this? Why help? The demon's gaze burns into mine. Because chaos is coming, and I want to watch it unfold. Saturus's eyes narrow, his nostrils flaring. That explains the scent I caught earlier. Dying demons. My heart plummets. The general has a weapon that kills demons. Fear claws at my throat, not for myself, but for Saturus. I've only just found him, this dark, dangerous creature who's awakened something primal within me. The thought of losing him. Saturus, I whisper, reaching for him. We should be careful. If he can kill demons... Saturus throws his head back and laughs, the sound echoing off the dank walls. A child's toy, nothing more. It might fell lesser demons, but I am far beyond its reach. I want to believe him, but doubt gnaws at me. Are you sure? He cups my face, his mismatched eyes boring into mine. I've walked this earth for eons, my pet. A mortal's trinket holds no fear for me. His confidence is infectious. I feel my fears melting away under his touch. It's going to be all right, he murmurs, his thumb tracing my lower lip. Trust me. I nod, grabbing his hand and intertwining our fingers. In this moment, I'd follow him into the depths of hell itself. Saturus grins, a predatory gleam in his eyes. He pulls me close, claiming my mouth in a searing kiss that leaves me breathless and aching for more. When we part, I'm dizzy with desire and newfound power. Let's go, I growl, my voice thick with bloodlust. My sister is waiting. Hand in hand, we descend deeper into the basement's dark heart, ready to face whatever horrors await us.
Chapter 18. Saturus. The stench of blood and fear hits me as we enter the chamber. Claudia tenses beside me, her eyes fixed on the scene before us. The air is thick with the metallic tang of spilled blood and the acrid smell of dark magic. Welcome, demon. I've been expecting you. The general's voice grates like nails on slate. He stands behind an altar, a cruel smile twisting his lips. Chained to the cold stone, a young girl lies unconscious. Narina, Claudia's sister. Let her go, Claudia snarls, taking a step forward. I feel her power surge, raw and untamed, crackling in the air around us like static electricity. I place a hand on her arm, holding her back. Something's not right. The general's too calm, too prepared. My ancient instincts scream danger. But we're just getting started, he purrs, running a finger along the edge of a wicked-looking blade. You see, I have a particular appetite. For innocent blood, I finish, disgust coiling in my gut. How quaint. He chuckles, a sound devoid of warmth. Not just blood, demon. their very essence, their purity. It fuels me, makes me stronger with each life I take. Claudia trembles with rage beside me. Her newfound demonic power pulses, threatening to break free of her control. I can sense her struggle to contain it, to channel it effectively. You've killed many of my kind, I say, buying time as I assess the situation. My eyes scan the chamber, noting every shadow, every potential weapon or escape route. Countless, he boasts, and each one has made me stronger. You'll be no different. I laugh, the sound echoing off the stone walls. You think your parlor tricks can harm me? I am ancient, little man. I've seen empires rise and fall while you were still crawling in the mud. His eyes narrow, but I catch a flicker of uncertainty. Good. Let him doubt. Perhaps, he says, but I have something you want. He gestures to Narina, who whimpers on the altar, and I'm willing to make a deal. Claudia's eyes lock onto Narina's unconscious form. With a primal scream, she lunges forward, her power surging through her veins. But the general is ready. A flick of his wrist sends her flying across the chamber. I move faster than thought, catching her before she slams into the stone wall. The impact jolts through my body, but I hold her tight, shielding her from harm. Foolish girl, I growl, but there's no real anger in it. Her recklessness is intoxicating. The general's laughter echoes off the walls. How touching! The demon protects his pet. I bare my fangs. Claudia, free your sister. I'll deal with this pathetic excuse for a hunter. She hesitates, her eyes darting between me and Narina. I give her a gentle push. Go. Now. As Claudia rushes to the altar, I face the general. He's cocky, overconfident. I'll enjoy breaking him. We clash in a fury of blows. He's strong. I'll give him that. Stronger than any mortal has a right to be. But I am ancient, a force of nature-given form. His strikes glance off my armor, while mine send him reeling. The air crackles with energy as we trade blows, the very fabric of reality warping around us. I hear the clinking of chains behind me. Good. Claudia is freeing her sister. The general spits blood, his eyes wild with hate. You think you've won, demon? I've slaughtered hundreds of your kind. And I've devoured thousands of yours, I snarl, advancing on him. You're nothing but a... The words die in my throat as he pulls something from his cloak. A dagger, ancient and cruel, its blade drinking in the dim light. My blood runs cold. No, it can't be. Recognize this, he sneers, brandishing the weapon. Your kind fears it, don't they? I do recognize it. How could I not? I forged that blade eons ago, imbuing it with power to rival the gods themselves. A weapon I thought lost to the ages. Its very presence sends waves of dread through me, memories of its creation flooding my mind. Rage courses through my veins as I lunge at the general. My claws tear into his flesh, ripping through armor and sinew alike. He's strong, but I'm stronger. Centuries of slumber have only sharpened my power. The general stumbles back, blood seeping from a dozen wounds. His eyes dart frantically, searching for an escape. Then his gaze locks onto something behind me. Claudia. She's struggling to drag Narina away, her sister barely conscious. In that moment, I see the general's intent crystallize. He changes course, charging past me with inhuman speed. No! The scream tears from my throat before I can stop it. Images flash through my mind. Claudia, lifeless. Centuries of emptiness stretching before me. The crushing weight of incompleteness driving me back into endless slumber. 100 years of waiting, dreaming of her, all for naught. I move without thinking. One moment I'm behind him, the next I'm between the general and Claudia. The dagger plunges into my chest, cold steel biting deep. Claudia screams. The sound pierces me more sharply than any blade. Pain blossoms, but it's distant, unimportant. I grin, savoring the general's look of shock as I wrap my hand around his, trapping it on the dagger's hilt. Blood trickles down my chest, but I barely notice. My focus narrows to Claudia's wide, terrified eyes. A century of waiting, dreaming, yearning, it all crashes over me in this moment. "Claudia!" I growl, my voice rough with pain and possessiveness. "I won't let anyone take you away from me. Not now. Not ever." The general struggles, trying to wrench the dagger free. I tighten my grip, bones cracking under my fingers. "I've waited 100 years for you," I continue, holding Claudia's gaze. "A century of slumber, dreaming of the day you'd come to me. You're mine, Claudia. Mine alone." Something flickers in her eyes. Fear. Desire. Both, perhaps. It doesn't matter. She's bound to me now, irrevocably. With my free hand, I grab the hilt of the dagger. The general's eyes widen as he realizes what's about to happen. He tries to pull away, but it's futile. I am ancient. I am power incarnate, and I will not be denied. In one swift motion, I plunge my hand into his chest. Flesh and bone give way like paper. His scream is cut short as my fingers close around his still beating heart. "This is the price of threatening what's mine," I snarl. I rip his heart from his chest, feeling it pulse one last time in my grip before going still. The general's body crumples to the floor, lifeless. Claudia stares, transfixed by the gruesome sight. It's intoxicating. Her power pulses in response to mine, a dark symphony of desire and violence.
Chapter 19. Claudia. Blood sprays across my face as Saturus's hand plunges into the general's chest. The demon hunter's eyes bulge, his mouth agape in a silent scream. Then Saturus yanks his arm back, ripping out a still-beating heart. "No!" I cry as my demon lover's body crumples. I rush to catch him, his weight nearly toppling me. His blood-soaked chest heaves against mine. The metallic scent of gore fills my nostrils, mixing with the acrid smell of sweat and fear that permeates the basement. "Saturus," I whisper, voice trembling. He coughs, dark blood bubbling from his lips. "I'm fine," he rasps, but his pale skin and laboured breathing tell a different story. His normally vibrant eyes are dulled with pain, and I can feel his body trembling against mine. My heart pounds. This can't be happening. Not now. Not when I've finally found someone who understands me, who awakened this delicious darkness inside me. The thought of losing him sends a wave of panic through my body, making my hands shake as I try to support him. "Your sister," Saturus mumbles, gesturing weakly toward Narina. I glance at my sibling. She's conscious, but somewhat dazed. Her clothes are torn, and bruises mar her skin. The sight of her fills me with a mixture of relief and rage. "We need to go," Saturus continues. "Revenge. Later. I'll destroy this place. Kill them all." His words ignite a fire in my veins. Yes, they'll pay. Every last one of these bastards who dared harm what's mine. I can almost taste the vengeance on my tongue, sweet and intoxicating. But first, we need to escape. I nod, supporting Saturus as we move towards Narina. His words echo in my mind. 100 years. What did he mean? "Saturus, what did you mean about waiting for me?" I ask, my voice barely above a whisper. He grimaces, then meets my eyes. "A contract made long ago. Your ancestor summoned me. I was promised his first female descendant. You, Claudia." The revelation stuns me. All this time I was meant for him? 100 years of waiting, of destiny weaving its threads to bring us together. The weight of it settles on my shoulders, both terrifying and exhilarating. I lean in, pressing my lips softly against his. The taste of blood lingers, but I don't care. This demon, This being of darkness and desire was always meant to be mine. The kiss deepens, a promise of what's to come, of the eternity that stretches before us. A soft sob breaks our moment. Narina approaches us, her legs shaky but her eyes clear. Tears stream down her face as she looks at us, a mixture of fear and gratitude in her expression. "Thank you," she whispers, her voice hoarse. "Both of you. But the others, all the other girls, they're dead." My heart clenches. I reach out, pulling my sister into a tight embrace. "It's going to be okay, Narina. We're here now. You're safe." She clings to me, her body trembling. I stroke her hair, murmuring soothing words. Saturus watches us, his expression unreadable. There's a softness in his eyes that I've never seen before, a hint of understanding. "We need to leave," he says softly. "The party continues above. No one knows what's happened here." I nod, helping Narina stand. We make our way out of the basement, leaving behind the carnage and horror. The stairs creak under our weight, each step a reminder of how close we are to freedom. Upstairs, the sounds of revelry continue, oblivious to the bloodshed below. Music and laughter filter through the walls, very different from the nightmare we've just escaped. My skin crawls at the thought of the revellers, dancing and drinking while girls suffered and died beneath their feet. We stumble out of the mansion, the sounds of revelry fading behind us. My arms ache from supporting both Saturus and Narina, but I refuse to let either go. The cool night air hits my face, a stark contrast to the oppressive heat of the basement. It carries the scent of flowers and distant rain, a reminder of the world beyond this hell. Saturus straightens, his wounds already healing. He turns to me, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "Claudia, I have a surprise for you." Before I can respond, a deafening boom shakes the ground. I whirl around, jaw dropping as the dark elf mansion erupts in flames. The explosion lights up the night sky, debris raining down around us. Screams pierce the air, but they're quickly swallowed by the roar of the inferno. The heat of the blaze washes over us, and I can smell the acrid scent of burning wood and flesh. The crackling of the fire is punctuated by the sound of shattering glass and crumbling stone. My heart races, a mix of shock and exhilaration coursing through my veins. I turn to Saturus, who's grinning like a child who's just pulled off the ultimate prank. You did this?" I whisper, awe colouring my voice. He nods, pulling me close. "Consider it a gift, my dear. No one who hurt you or your sister will survive this night." I should feel horrified, guilty. But all I feel is a savage satisfaction. They deserved this. All of them. The darkness inside me purrs with contentment, revelling in the destruction. Saturus leans in, his breath hot against my ear. "I'll meet you in the glacis. It's my present for you." "The glacis?" I ask, curiosity piqued. "My realm is now your realm," he explains, a hint of pride in his voice. "A world of ice and shadow, where desires run wild and unchecked. It's where we truly belong, Claudia, where you can embrace your new nature fully." The promise in his words sends a shiver down my spine. A world where I can be free, where I don't have to hide who I am or what I want. It sounds like paradise. Before I can process his words further, he captures my lips in a searing kiss. I melt into him, tasting blood and smoke and something uniquely Saturus. When we break apart, I'm breathless. "Go," he murmurs. "Take your sister somewhere safe. I'll come for you soon." I nod, unable to form words. With one last lingering look, Saturus disappears into the shadows. I turn to Narina, who's staring at the burning mansion with wide eyes. "Come on," I say, tugging her arm gently. "We need to go." As we stumble away from the chaos, I can't help but look back one last time. The mansion is now fully engulfed, a beacon of destruction in the night. Flames lick at the sky, consuming everything in their path. The screams have died down, replaced by the relentless roar of the fire. A smile tugs at my lips. This is just the beginning, the start of a new life, a new me. With Saturus by my side and the promise of the glacies ahead, I feel invincible. I tighten my grip on Narina's hand and lead her into the darkness. Whatever comes next, I'm ready for it. The old Claudia died in that basement. What emerged is something new, something powerful, and I can't wait to see what I'll become. If someone had told me a month ago that I would be running for my life instead of sitting in the stuffy classroom of the bordello, preparing to be sold off to indoor, I would have laughed.
The forest is not your safe space, little one.
But there's no avoiding my fate.
It's you. You're the one.
I've spent my entire life training to be the perfect bride for the top-bidding dark elf. So much can change in so little time.
You understand why you're being punished, right, child?
Your blood. It sings to me.
Please, let me out of here.
You need to learn your place.
But what are you? Where are you taking me?
Run!
I'm a bringer of death.
No, you're not dying. I won't let you.
You won't be able to get out.
Let me go, please.
Sadie, I will make you mine.
Chapter 20. Claudia. Narina's arms tighten around me, her tears soaking into my shirt. Please don't go, she whispers, voice cracking. I stroke her hair, fighting back my own tears. I have to, Narina. This isn't my world anymore. 2 weeks have passed since that night of blood and fire. 2 weeks of explaining, comforting, and coming to terms with what I've become. A demon. The word still feels strange on my tongue. Those 14 days had been a whirlwind of emotions and revelations. I'd spent countless hours recounting the events in the ravine, trying to make sense of it all. Narina had listened with wide eyes, alternating between fascination and horror. We'd cried together, laughed together, and slowly, painfully, accepted the new reality of our lives. But why? She pulls back, her eyes red-rimmed and pleading. We can figure something out. You don't have to leave. I cup her face, forcing a smile. I made a contract, Narina. A lifetime of servitude to Saturus. It's not just duty. It's who I am now. At the mention of his name, my gaze drifts to where Saturus stands a few paces away. He's giving us space, but his presence is impossible to ignore. My heart races as memories of our last encounter flood my mind. His touch, his taste, the way he made me feel alive in ways I never thought possible. Servitude. The word should terrify me, but it doesn't. Excitement thrums through my veins at the thought of the eternity that stretches before us. Saturus may own me by contract, but he's never treated me like a slave. If anything, I feel more free than I ever have. Will I ever see you again? Narina's question snaps me back to the present. I hesitate, not wanting to make promises I can't keep. I don't know, I admit. But I'll always love you. Never forget that. She nods, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. I pull her close one last time, breathing in her familiar scent, committing it to memory. Remember when we used to sneak out to the meadow at night? I whisper, my voice thick with emotion. How we'd lie in the grass and make up stories about the stars. Narina lets out a watery chuckle. You always came up with the craziest tales, like the one about the star-eating dragon. Hey, that was a masterpiece, I protest, grateful for the moment of levity. Promise me you'll keep looking up at those stars, okay? And know that wherever I am, I'm looking at them too. I pull away from Narina, my heart heavy. As I turn, my eyes lock with Saturus. A jolt of electricity courses through me, sparks flying in that single heated gaze. My breath catches, and for a moment, I forget everything else. Shaking myself, I face Narina again. I reach into my pocket, pulling out a small, ornate token. Here, I say, pressing it into her palm. If you ever need me, use this. Call out to me with your blood. It will recognize you. I'll come, no matter where I am. The token gleams in the sunlight, its surface etched with intricate runes. It's warm to the touch, pulsing with an energy that seems to recognize Narina. Saturus had crafted it himself, infusing it with powerful magic that would bridge the gap between our worlds. Narina's fingers close around the token, fresh tears spilling down her cheeks. I don't want you to go, she sobs, throwing her arms around me once more. My heart shatters. I hold her tight, fighting back my own tears. I know, my love, I know. But we both understand the truth. I have to leave. Finally, I step back. Saturus extends his hand to me, palm up. A shimmering portal materializes beside us, swirling with otherworldly energy. The air crackles with power, sending shivers down my spine. I reach for him, my fingers trembling slightly as they intertwine with his. The contact sends a wave of warmth through me, steadying my resolve. As we turn towards the portal, Saturus speaks. His voice is low, meant only for me. I have a feeling that your sister will eventually end up in the glacis. His words shock me, but I nod slowly. If that's her path, it will be her choice, I say softly. Unlike me, where circumstances force the glacis upon me. I pause, glancing back at Narina one last time. My little sister, so fragile yet so strong. Part of me aches to stay, to protect her from the harsh realities of this world. But I know I can't. I'm not that person anymore. Turning back to Saturus, I feel a smile tugging at my lips. Though I have to admit, I whisper, being forced into the glacis was the best thing that ever happened to me. His eyes gleam with satisfaction, a predatory grin spreading across his face. My heart races, desire pooling in my belly. How can one look affect me so deeply? Are you ready, my pet? Saturus purrs, his thumb caressing my knuckles. I take a deep breath, steeling myself for what's to come. Yes, I reply, my voice steady despite the butterflies in my stomach. With one final glance at the world I'm leaving behind, I step forward with Saturus. The portal's energy crackles around us, tingling against my skin. In a heartbeat, we're enveloped by swirling light and colour. The sensation is unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's as if my body is being pulled apart and put back together, molecule by molecule. Colours I've never seen before dance across my vision, and I hear whispers in languages I don't understand. Through it all, Saturus's hand remains firmly clasped in mine, an anchor in the chaos of interdimensional travel. As we cross the threshold between worlds, I feel a sense of rightness settle over me. This is where I belong now, at Saturus's side, embracing the darkness within me. The portal closes behind us, sealing my fate. But I'm not afraid. I'm exhilarated. A new world awaits, full of mystery and promise. And with Saturus by my side, I'm ready to face whatever comes next.